We know that Doc Rivers is out. The question is, will Giannis Antetokounmpo be the next one to follow him out the door? Trump, we had this conversation yesterday about how he just doesn't want to be the bad guy. But we're seeing Steph on our screen for a reason. Where would you like to see Giannis wind up next year?
I would love to see Giannis become a Golden State Warrior. I would just love to see that. Steph Curry, coming up at the end of his career, is a guy that can't have too much on his shoulders, right? We keep talking about it. But when you think about Giannis, Giannis is also a guy that is like KD and needs someone to assist him with decision-making down the stretch. Also, he needs somebody that can fill it up from the three-point line as well as shoot the free throws really well down the stretch. So when I pair those two together, I understand they got Jimmy over there. I know they got some contractual things that they're going to have to work out. But if I see those two together for the brand of basketball,
you have the closer that you need, right?
Boy.
That's what they had with Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday back
Let me ask you a different question, because Vinny Goodwill was sitting in that spot yesterday, and he made the point, maybe Giannis waited a little too long to do this. Like, Giannis 2 years ago was one of the top 2 or 3 players in the NBA for certain, lock.
For 7 years.
And wherever he goes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Is he still that? With all the injuries and all the rest of that, like, is he still a player that you put him somewhere and you immediately say, that team can win a title?
I think so, because 32 is not old anymore, really, right? Like, he's still in his prime. And before this year, we only played 36 games this year because of injuries and all the other things going on in Milwaukee. 7 straight years, he's 4 or higher in the MVP voted.
Right.
So that tells you he's one of the best players in the league for a 7-year stretch, and 1 year is not going to take that away. It's all about situation. Is it too late? No. Is it too late, though, to do what you're talking about and go to Golden State where everybody's old and try to win right away? That's tough. To me, he's got to find the ready-made situation where he steps in and it's a team that is either this close to a championship or already has
But I think that's where the problem comes in, where you say, did he miss the window?
Yeah.
If I'm a young team, that's what I'm thinking of him. I think that pairing him with a guy that doesn't have as many years makes sure that we know now the urgency is here. We need to win now, and we're going to win this way.
He had to wait to control the situation. He's got his opt-out now in his pocket. He can decide where he wants to go.
It's a really interesting point that you're making there, because if you're San Antonio or you're one of these other teams that have all these young guys.
What about Oklahoma City?
Well, that would be, you brought that up.
Here we go.
Oklahoma City has all these draft picks.
Here we go.
They have a really good roster with a lot of young players. If you want to be diabolical, if you want to do something like KD going to the Warriors,
you want to be KD?
To that.
You want to be KD?
You want to
go
get
ahead
rings?
over there.
You told me about how important it is to have rings.
Hey, it's important to get rings. This is no knock to KD. To this day, to my core, I didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? It was great for basketball in the grand scheme of things. You know what I mean? But I'm supposed to have more jewelry.
You're not the only one who feels that way. All right, we have much more to do as we continue. NBA play-in tournament tips off tonight.
Yeah, dude.
The 9-10 matchup in the East has the Heat and the Hornets. Looking ahead on Saturday, we have a pair of first-round playoff series in the East, including Game 1 of the Hawks and Knicks from Madison Square Garden. And so let's get some predictions. Iman Shumpert, I gave you yesterday to think it through. Now I'm putting you on the spot. Knicks, and Hawks, give me the prediction. Who wins?
Give me Knicks in 6, and that's with a cushion, man. I really want it to be a gentleman's sweep. Give me Knicks in 6.
Knicks in 6, he says. Alan, you know the Knicks as well as they can be known. What is the most important factor for the Knicks if they're going to get out of what I think is, well, let's start with this.
Yeah.
This is the toughest first-round matchup anyone in the East is going to draw,
of the
right?
top 4,
That's for any of the big teams in the East. The Hawks a tough matchup.
Yes.
So how, if the Knicks are going to win this thing comfortably 5 or 6, how are they going to get there?
Well, they're going to get there with not just Jalen Brunson, but with Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns in a two-man game that we actually saw get unveiled last week when they played in Atlanta against the Hawks. And that two-man game, the high screen roll between these two superstars, we have not seen it enough. It worked to near perfection in this game, especially in crunch time where Jalen Brunson does his best work. Karl Anthony Towns doesn't need to be a shooter all the time. He loves to be a playmaker. So these two should be able to dominate this series if it can work like it did that last
Tell us, Shump, what are we seeing on that screen and why is it so hard to stop?
Well, it's a pistol action. Anytime you got a ball handler delivering the ball that early on the court and then sliding off really fast like that, especially if Jalen Brunson's getting to the left hand, you have to respect all things involved. So you're going to have to respect the drive. You're going to have to respect the pocket pass or a pick and pop pass that happens. You're getting a defensive rotation from the bottom that could lead to a weak side 3. It's just anything could happen as long as Jalen's coming off of that thing.
What are you doing in that? Because you know their whole defense is stop Jalen Brunson.
Without a doubt.
Trap him, get the ball out of his hands, whatever it is. But if you're using a guy like Towns,
you got to fight Towns off of that spot. The only way to do it. That's the only way to do it. You have to fight him off of that spot.
Congo's got to make a decision, right?
If you don't fight him for that real estate and make that pass, that catch tough, when Towns gets that ball, if he has sight of Jalen and they have a rhythm with their timing, you have to throw that timing off because you need Jalen to be wanting to receive the ball and Cat still having to corral it, get control of it, and keep it away from the defender. So
it's the action that you need to blow up.
Oh yeah, you got to blow up that.
If you go to trap and you leave Towns, he's going to kill you from three, right?
Once the action actually happens, you have to respect it and play it honest. Once you have to play it honest, you're going to run into a problem with them.
And so the most important factor for the Knicks in this series, and even beyond, because the Knicks fans are not just thinking about one round, it's Karl Anthony Towns, right? This is where the spotlight is in this postseason.
But I think it sets up perfect because they need inside protection over there in Atlanta. That's their problem. Well, it's not really a problem, but it's the thing that we're going to point out in this series. Karl Anthony Towns can get downhill. He's not one of those guys that plays with his back to the basket, but he can get downhill. He's shown that. What I like about that pistol action is if you have something going on that far out in advance where he can get a little action and get some daylight, now it opens up driving lanes for him. And he's also a willing passer.
Yes.
We don't talk about it enough, but Karl Anthony Towns is a willing passer. I think that if this series can feature him enough, they should be walking out of here with a gentleman's sweep and a 20-piece from Magic City, man.
Okay, we'll see.
A 20-piece.
And then they wind up probably with Boston in round 2. So I just showed you all the teams that are in the Eastern Conference playoff picture. And you did.
Take it to the NBA. The first 2 play-in games tip off tonight. Here's what you need to know. It's a familiar spot for the Heat, who are playing in their league record 7th play-in game on Tuesday. The Hornets need 2 wins to clinch their first playoff berth since 2015-2016. Now, the Suns, on the other hand, will be making their play-in debut against the Trailblazers. Portland is looking to reach the playoffs for the first time since the 2020-2021 season. Phoenix took the season series 2-1. With that, we say good morning to NBA analyst Iman Shumpert. All right, Iman, out in the West, we know the Blazers are going on the road to face the Suns tonight. Winner of this one gets San Antonio in the first round. Which team do you think can cause more problems for the Spurs, and why?
I think it's gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go with Phoenix. Phoenix's guard play early on during the season, they got to face up against them. They finished out 2-2. Their guards are able to carry a scoring load to keep up. When you talk about San Antonio's guards go out there and they make sure to pressure. They make sure to get out here and show you a different tempo every time with their different guards that they bring in. I think that when you look over at Phoenix, they can match up with their guards. And you already know it's hard to match up with that big fella down there. But when you can match up with their guards and limit the other ways that San Antonio can beat you, the other ways that San Antonio can stay within a game until the end where he can make those decisions, I think you give yourself a fighting chance. So no knock to Portland and the way they match up, but I think Phoenix would be the better series.
No knock to them. It's the reality. The big fellas team, the Spurs, ended the regular season 30-4 since February 1st, the best record in the league over that span. All right, Iman, in the East, Hornets hosts the Heat tonight. Which team are you more confident in to make it out of the play-in and into the playoffs?
I think I'm going to roll with the Hornets. The Hornets are playing really well. They're shooting the ball well, and that's the part that makes me feel like they'll win this matchup. When you talk about Miami, a trending thing down the stretch for Miami has been their ability to keep up with scoring with other teams while at the same time keeping up their defense. Their defense has had a little bit of a slippage, and that's something that you cannot do when you're going in here to face a red-hot team like the Charlotte Hornets, especially that play free with the ball, they play confident with each other, and they have the first and second leading three-pointer made guys in the league. So when you have to deal with Con Knipple and LaMelo Ball just going crazy, throwing all these passes, Brandon Miller to balance everything out, I think you're in for a lot dealing with the Heat right now, and I kind of want to see if they can shake things up in the East. The Hornets can. I don't know what that means going into the first round, but I would like to see them shake it up and get in there.
Hey, we appreciate a good shake-up. Winner of this one will advance to play for the 8th seed on Friday night. Iman, thank you so much.